Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Carvat, and today I'm going to talk about why nervous system regulation should be your number one strategy to create the wealth that you desire, to attract more money into your life, to really create your dream life ultimately. Now, I can tell you this, if I would have heard about this when I started my business, as I was in my business, as I was building my business, everything would have shifted for me. But the truth is, when I started my business, I was thrown into the very masculine way of working, into a very masculine strategic approach to building a business, which there's nothing wrong with masculine strategy. We need that. We need the masculine energy. We need the execution. We need the structure. We need all of the things. But eventually you will find yourself hitting a cap in terms of what more it is that you can do, or what else is it that you can adjust, or what else is it that you can create. Because I would find myself trying to look for a solution and find myself making a certain amount of money and never being able to make more, or hitting that same income level over and over again, no matter how much I worked, no matter how little I worked. And I would always look outside of myself for another strategy, for another Instagram reel strategy, or for another way to make more money. And that is the very thing that I want to start with. In a world like today, where business is still very masculine driven, we tend to look outside of ourselves for the solution. I don't think business works like that anymore. Now, I'm not saying you don't need strategy, as I was saying before, but if you constantly look outside of yourself and you outsource your success to what you need to do instead of who you need to be, you're capping yourself in the amount of money that you actually desire to make. Now, this was really difficult for me to understand, how wealth can be a nervous system game. But I will bring you back to a story. If you've been on my channel for a while, you've heard this story before, but I'm gonna share it again. The highest month I made after having been in business for 3 years was $25,000. And I remember when I made that money and I calculated the number on the sheet, I felt fear and I felt panic. I'm even getting emotional right now, because instead of celebrating, instead of feeling like, oh my God, I did this, I made it happen, my partner wanted to celebrate. And he and we took the car and we drove into town to celebrate with dinner. This whole entire ride, I was shaking. My whole body was shaking. I was uneasy. I was constantly checking my phone. And that was because I did not feel safe making that money. And then what ended up happening was I ended up sabotaging. I ended up burning out. And that burnout that I experienced was partially because I was working really hard, but also partially because I hit an upper limit, which, if you're not familiar with upper limits, this is a concept by Gay Hendricks. He speaks about it. He has a book on that. And I hit an upper limit of how much good I believed I deserve to have in this moment in my life, because everything was going great. My health was going great, my relationship was growing great, and my business was going great. And subconsciously, I did not believe I deserved to have all this good that I was just having, creating, attracting. And so I hit an upper limit and I sabotaged myself. 2 months later, my income dropped by a lot and I was miserable. I was very unhappy. I was very depressed, and I did not understand what was going on. I thought I wasn't made for business. I thought, like, how am I gonna make $50,000 months if with only $25,000, and don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money. My goals were so much higher than that. And I started to doubt myself and who I am and what I think I can do and what I think I deserved. And so I had to look at a deeper layer. I did not need more strategy, because the strategy that I was doing was obviously working. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made that money that I made. The strategy was working, but something else was missing. And that was me, who I was being, and what I felt safe receiving. And that was happening on a much deeper level, on a subconscious level that I did not have immediate access to. The only access that I had was seeing what was happening, what I was doing, what I was thinking, and the results because of that. And that was, to me, the first sign to understand that business and making money and a wealth starts with you, the safety that you create with receiving money, love, abundance, with feeling like you are the person that deserves to make that money. And I know, like on a conscious level, trust me, I know on a conscious level, you want to make that money. You're like, I don't know what you mean, Jess. Maybe you're like, but I want to make 15,000 and I know I can make it. And I know you can. But if your nervous system does not feel safe with creating, receiving, holding that money, it will find every way for you to not make it, to not be able to hold it, to sabotage you, and to stop you from creating the wealth that you desire. What I want you to understand is that your nervous system is not always your best friend. Your nervous system, all that your nervous system wants to do for you is to keep you safe, not to make you rich. That means that your nervous system works from memory that happened, situations that happened in the past that made your nervous system believe what is safe and what is not. So think of it this way. Your nervous system has like two boxes, safe, not safe. The box within your nervous system, I'm trying to like metaphorically explain it. The box where your nervous system feels safe is all the memories from your past, the memories you have about money. And those memories are not just conscious memories. They are probably very deep down in your subconscious. You might not even be aware of it. Because as a child, you absorb everything. And you absorb it in a way that you interpret the world from the experiences that you have, either good or bad, right? So you create the safety box with all the things you've ever experienced as a child and later about the relationship that your parents had, the money mindset that your parents had. Maybe your family was fighting about money. Maybe you felt like when you are seen by too many people, you are being judged by your family because your siblings then don't feel seen. All the things you've ever experienced are in this safety little bubble within or box within your nervous system. So now today, everything that is not within that box and is outside of that box, in that not safe box, your nervous system kicks in and is like, alarm, 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 not safe. I want to go back to what we think is safe. So even though you want to grow, you want to expand, you want to make money, you want to be seen, you want to grow your YouTube channel, you want to grow your TikTok, you want to whatever that is, as long as it's not in the safety box within your nervous system is going to kick in and it's going to find a way to not make it happen for you. That's as simple as I can explain how the nervous system works. And what we gotta do as women, as human beings, we got to realize that is what's happening. In that moment, when I made the 25,000 and my body was going into panic, I did not know what was happening. I thought something was completely wrong with me and I should be celebrating, I should be happy, and I wasn't. If I would have known, my nervous system goes from safe to not safe, I would have been able to regulate myself and not make the current income I was making wrong and learn how to receive that money with ease, with gratitude, without guilt, without all the things that I was feeling. The other thing that you have to understand is that safety box, these are not good things most of the time. It can be something traumatic that happened to you, and now your body wants to protect you from that. Trauma oftentimes also teaches your body to associate safety with struggle, with lack, with being the underdog. Once you recognize that this is what's happening, you're able to break that pattern. You're able to look beyond that and understand how your body is actually functioning. And that's why the goal in attracting more wealth, more money, more whatever it is that you want, is not doing more, but feeling safe to receive more and feeling safe to hold more. I want to talk about one aspect that I haven't seen yet talked about that much, and that is the connection between nervous system and identity. We all have an identity within us, and that identity that you have within you is the accumulation of all your past experiences, good or bad, that have formed certain beliefs about yourself, who you think you are, what you think you can do in the world, what you think you deserve. And it has this certain set of beliefs that now, on a subconscious level, you operate from and you create results from. So that means your identity is based on what your nervous system, again, thinks is safe or not safe. But if we know that your identity is the mirror to what you're creating outside of you, that also means that if you want for things outside of you to change, as in more money, moving to another country, living in a better apartment, whatever that might be, it starts with changing your identity. And in order for you to do that and changing who you're being and changing your beliefs, you got to create safety within your nervous system to feel like when me as a person, I'm changing, I'm transforming, I'm showing up more, I'm charging more, I'm doing all the things that are feeling unsafe in my body. I create that safety to feel like I can actually step into this new identity and hold that. Because oftentimes what you're gonna see is when people are growing, transforming, is that they're in between those two identities. And they're in this old identity of recognizing like, I can't be living in lack anymore. I can't be undercharging anymore. I can't be, allowing other people to walk over my boundaries anymore. So this new identity is like, I'm powerful. I have strong boundaries. I charge more money for my services now. This new identity is here and this old identity is here. Now, that messy middle in between is usually where people are stuck because your nervous system tries to bring you back to your old identity and is like, but this is where we're safe. It doesn't matter if you're undercharged. It's better to not charge too much because people are going to think that you're greedy. People are going to think that. So we're staying here. Our nervous system wants to stay here. Whereas we know on a conscious level, well, if I want to grow though, if I want a different life, I got to step into my new identity. I got to bridge that gap between my old and my new and allow that old identity to die off and create safety within this new identity. Because once you step into this new identity, this new version of yourself, the results in your life are going to change. And that is something that oftentimes we're missing when it comes to changing your results in your business, in your life, in the money that you're making. Think of it this way. If your nervous system thinks that new version of you is a threat, it will always bring you back to your old. Now, if you want to learn how to shift your identity into being a wealthy person, I have a free masterclass come up, which is literally called Step into Your Wealthy Identity, where I will be able to really teach you the step-by-step process of how to shift your beliefs, stepping into your wealth identity and getting paid for who you are. So if you're interested in joining, the link is down below. I would love to see you there. And I'm touching on this because there's so many different aspects to it. And I do have another masterclass on a wealthy nervous system. And this is going to be the identity piece of that. So both of them go complementary together. Again, it's down below where I dive deeper and I actually do exercises that I can't do on here for several reasons, right? I do an actual exercise with you that is very powerful for you to shift you out of your old identity and to create that safety in that new identity. So going back to how a dysregulated nervous system shows up, is there 4 nervous system responses within your body and how your nervous system is gonna keep you stuck or not gonna create the results that you want. The first one is the nervous system response fight. So you might have heard, we have fight, flight, fawn, and freeze, right? Fight is the first nervous system response. If you are in a fight nervous system response because your nervous system is dysregulated, you're gonna hustle, you're gonna work harder, you're gonna chase success, and you will try to prove your worth by doing more, showing up more, and never feeling enough. The second nervous system is the nervous system of flight. This is where you're overthinking, you feel like you always have to learn more, like you never know enough, and you're stuck in perfectionism. So these are the type of people who are waiting forever to launch a new product or service because they keep adjusting, they keep changing things, and they never feel like they're ready to actually launch the thing that they want to launch. The third nervous system response is freeze. This is where you procrastinate. And that mantra that you might tell yourself is, I don't know. So you literally shut down and you don't take any action or don't take powerful action that would move the needle in your business or in your life. And the fourth response is fawn. And this is where you're undercharging, you're over-delivering, you're over-giving to your clients, to the people in your life, and you're also people-pleasing. So you can see how all these 4 nervous system responses can show up in your life and how they're keeping you stuck in not creating the results that you desire. So if you want to learn how to become that wealthy version of you, you gotta regulate yourself to feel safe being her, being this new identity version of yourself that does things differently, that doesn't undercharge, that doesn't procrastinate, that doesn't over-deliver. Because when you create that safety in your body, you finally take up more space. You are bolder in your videos, in the content that you create, in the coaching that you give people, in the products that you create. You allow yourself to be seen. You can say no without guilt. You stop people pleasing. Like, it will completely transform your life when you know how to create that safety within your body. Now, I want to touch on some practical ways that you can create that safety within your body. The first thing, and it might sound like you've heard it a million times before, but I'm going to explain to you why it works. It's actually breath, connecting with your breath. Think of it this way. If your body does not feel safe, it creates a stress response in your body, believing there is a lion right now trying to catch you and to eat you. So if that is the case, right, thinking that if you are in stress, your body doesn't feel safe, a lion tries to catch you and unalive you, your body is not going to think, oh, let me take deep breaths. Let me digest my food. Let me grow my hair. Let me grow my nails. No, it's going to think, I got to survive right now. Like, I got to run because that lion, if it catches me, I'm done, right? So your body is thinking survival. It doesn't think, how can I be the happiest, healthiest, most beautiful version of myself and also, breathe deeply. So breath is the easiest way to signal your nervous system, hey, we're safe. Because once you start taking deep breaths, your body's like, oh, there's no lion trying to catch you right now. Because if there was, you would not be thinking about taking deep breaths. You would be thinking about freaking running, right? So by breathing, you're signaling your nervous system, listen, we're safe. Whatever is just happening, I'm being seen by more people. I'm charging more than I wanted to. I'm doing all these things and might feel unsafe, but as I'm breathing, we're good. We're safe, okay? The other thing that you can do, and that's my favorite one, the thing that I do with my clients a lot, is the butterfly hug. The butterfly hug is a nervous system regulation technique where you literally hug yourself like a butterfly. You take deep breaths and you tap slow and controlled on each part of the shoulder. The other one, and that is what I do mainly with my clients, is movement, shaking, embodiment. This is why I advise you to come to my free masterclasses, because I am able to do an actual practice with you that this video doesn't allow me because of copyright reasons when I use music, and I like to use certain type of music. So do come to a session because it's usually a longer session. It allows me to do a 30-minute session with you guys rather than a 5-minute thing, right? So movement, shaking, embodiment is really important because your body has emotional imprints on its entire body. And we can't out-talk ourselves out of this regulation. We have to use our body to let go of these emotional imprints that were stuck from the past, from traumatic experiences. And the way to do that is to move our body. The other work that I love to do is inner child work. I literally just did a session with my clients yesterday, which was a 90-minute deep dive on inner child work. And why this is important is because, as I was explaining before, the reason why you're dysregulated today or why your nervous system believes certain things are safe and certain things are not safe is mainly because of the experiences that you've had in childhood and that made you believe certain things about yourself. So what you're doing with inner child work is you're traveling back in time, not really, but in your mind, energetically, and you're healing that inner child, that little girl of yourself that experienced certain things in her life that made her believe certain things about herself today. And then the other thing that you can do is journaling from the identity that you want to be. And as you're doing that, noticing where is your body contracting as you're doing it? Like, do you feel like, tense when you're journaling from your identity version? Or how does your body respond as you're trying to step into this new identity? Now, I also truly believe, and I know I'm not the first one to say this, but I believe if you're a good person, and I feel like you are if you're watching this, a lot of money in the hands of a good person is going to change the world. We need more wealthy women who are good people and who want to have an impact, because the more good people we have with good big amounts of money, that to me is how the world is going to change. If you're feeling like this is calling to you, again, either reach out to me if you want to work with me one-on-one. I do have a program called Embodied Business as well, where we do a lot of this work. Join my free masterclass. You will find a link in a bio. I would really love to see you there. But I truly think this is the work that we as women, as society, should do more of and understand ourselves on a much deeper level, rather than just doing more, hustling more, and being way too focused on strategy rather than on listening to what our body wants to tell us. So if this resonates, let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. I'm sending you so much love, and until the next time, bye-bye.